Hey guys, welcome back to Twins Try. I'm Christy.
I'm Wing.
And today we're going to be enjoying foods that we eat during Chinese Lunar New Year's. So I asked my mom why we even have Chinese Lunar New Year's, and so she told us a few stories along with why we eat some of the foods that we do during Chinese Lunar New Year's. So I thought, let's go ahead and actually turn this into a video and tell you guys too.
Alright, so the first one that we're going to be trying is this one. This is called Lingo or Nian Gao.
Nian Gao.
Nian Gao.
Yeah.
My tones are very awful.
Yeah, and so this is typically enjoyed during Chinese Lunar New Year's because we like sounds that are similar to other words. So this one is just a literal translation. Go or Gao is typically some kind of cake, and so it also sounds like higher. Each year you're going higher. Lin or Nian is each year or every year. So each year we want to be better and better and better. And so that's why we eat this one.
Typically we kind of fry this with a little bit of egg. And
so that's another way to enjoy that.
It's so sticky, so it's like very hard to cut out.
So this is very sweet. It's made of basically sugar, water, and I forget what else. But it is really simple to make actually, and very, very chewy.
It's got a nice gelatinous feel, and it's sweet, and it's just a nice little breakfast that you can make when you fry it with the egg. It gives it a nice salty and sweet contrast.
Oh, the last thing was gelatinous rice flour. That was the third ingredient. The one you said gelatinous, it reminded me. So why do we even have Chinese Lunar New Year's? The story goes that a while ago, way back when, we're not going dates here, there was villages where it would be rampaged every year by a monster called Nian or Lin. And so these villagers every year would move away from this village every year just so they could hide from the monster. One year, a beggar came and asked the villagers, hey, if you let me stay here, I will go ahead and make sure that I get rid of this monster forever. I promise I'll be able to do this. The villagers were very skeptical and were like, I don't know if we trust that you would be able to, but you know, what's the harm? So they stayed an extra night as opposed to leaving as they intended, and the beggar got to work. So what he did was he took a bunch of bamboo sticks and he lit them on fire. So when the steam kind of pressurized, it made this loud boom noise and scared the monster, Nian. And the second thing that he did was he hung up all of these red little papers and signs that kind of ward off the monster, and it turns out that the monster was scared of this and kind of got confused and dizzied by it. That actually did successfully scare away the monster, and he stopped terrorizing the village every year and eating the children and the animals. So
that's why we have firecrackers.
Yeah.
It came from the bamboo, and then the red papers kind of symbolize, you know, the luck and prosperity, because we were able to scare away the monster. Yeah, so it's considered a good omen, the red papers, and so that's why we see red everywhere. So if you look at all of this packaging, it's red. You know, we love the color red for this reason. The next thing we're gonna eat is this cake. It's called Fat Go. We like this cake because it has rips here and it's kind of grown from where it started. So when it started, it was below this paper, and it really rises and kind of rises to the point where it splits up like this. It's significant because we like similar words that sound like other things, and Fat Go sounds like, oh, each year you're gonna keep getting more and more prosperous and successful. Yeah. The word I think is Fat Na. So it's kind of like, you know, you eat this and you will have that same kind of prosperity.
We have something else that we eat. It's called Malai Go. It's a lot higher, so it's like that big, and it's really airy and sweet as well. And it also has this kind of texture and flavor. Although it is more airy on that one, this one's a little more dense, but it's very moist. The next thing we're gonna try is this. It's called aoyi, which literally translates to cow's ear. This is made of some fermented bean curd that's kind of dried out, and then once dehydrated, you cut them into little slivers like this. And then it is then used a seasoning called lam yu, which then is seasoned on top. Lam yu is also some kind of fermented something like beans or tofu. And it gives a really nice kind of depth of flavor that you don't find in many snacks, especially American snacks. I haven't had these in so long.
Yeah, I can hardly remember them.
Yeah, I know. We used to get more of these snacks during Chinese New Year's, but
I kind of stopped.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we did this video because it gave us an excuse to go ahead and buy some of these.
This one is a lot thicker than the one I kind of remember.
Yeah.
The taste is really good though. It's a nice little salty balance, not overly powerful.
But a slight contrast with like some kind of sweetness almost.
Yeah, it's really good. This one's a lot thicker than the one that I kind of remember, which is thin and you can kind of see the swirls a lot better.
Yeah, they used to be browner, the swirly parts, right? But then this one has a lot more coating on it than I remember.
This one reminds me more of a cookie versus a cracker.
And then it has a lot of good seasoning, and the seasoning adds a lot of depth.
Yeah.
I can't really describe what it reminds me of.
Me either.
It's not, even though it's fermented, it's not fermented in the sense that you get this weird moldy flavor or anything.
I don't know how to describe it. It just tastes a little bit salty, but it has that umami kind of flavor.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to be trying is this sesame balls. They're called siu hao zhou, which literally translates to little smiling mouth berries. Is probably the best way to translate it. And I know the carryover isn't exactly the 100% correct, but that's just because nothing gets translated literally. Each one of these has little sesames on it, and they're little cookies where they fried it to the point where they split up like a smiling mouth. So this is what it looks like.
It's like Pac-Man.
Yeah, it does kind of, see? So I remember liking these a lot. I picked 3 of the snacks that we loved growing up, and then this one was our favorite. So.
Yeah.
Boink.
As people who love sesame, it's very fragrant in that sesame toastedness. And then there's that mild sweetness that comes with the cookie in the flour. So it's a very nice balance. And even though there's not that, like you look at it and you think, oh, it's just, you know, a cookie, it's got a nice depth of flavor.
Yeah, and it's not just sweet as the only profile. You get the toastiness from the sesame, which if you like toasted sesame, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that flavor that's not really sweet or salty, but it's just there as like an added depth.
A very fragrant flavor. Oh no, my gum. My gold.
Which reminds us, we like these. They're called gum. In Chinese, tangerines and gold sound the same. They use different characters, but from an audio perspective, they sound like the same. So we like to keep these around
for the new year.
Yeah, exactly, which signifies wealth and prosperity. We have a lot of symbolism where it's based on this kind of stuff. Next thing we're gonna try are these. They're called gokdai. They're shaped almost like empanadas.
I remember this was my favorite growing up because it was
definitely my favorite.
I don't know why, it was like very crunchy and hard.
Yeah, it was hard.
I liked it a lot.
But it had a lot of good stuff in there, and I like it a lot. That's why I saved this one for last. I don't know why you have me cut when I'm like 1 finger less. Boink.
It's got peanuts, sugar,
and sesame. You
and
can see the
sesame.
sesame right here. I loved these as a kid, and I still do. I'm glad we got a pack of these.
It's good. It's got a very mild coating on the outside, and the inside is just a sweet part, kind of explodes in your mouth.
Yeah, and so why we eat these is because they're stuffed, like little wallets. They look like little wallets, and they're super full and inflated, if you can see. So you want your wallets to be full, right? And they almost also look like the Chinese gold pieces, the ingots. And so we like everything to signify money or more prosperity for years to come. And so all of these things that we eat have some kind of meaning to that, kind of alluding to you having more prosperous years each year that comes in. The last thing that we're gonna have is this sesame ball. It's made of the same gelatinous rice flour that we use for the lingo. And so this is a gelatinous, crisp but gelatinous exterior filled with red bean paste. And it's just really a good dessert. I don't actually know the meaning on this one, but we saw it in Chinatown, so we were like, maybe we'll grab it.
Yeah. This reminds me of a very big mochi, because it's got that same mochi outer covering, and then with bean paste on the inside. So it's the Chinese version of mochi.
Yeah, but with a sesame exterior.
So this, for whatever reason, is not red bean, which is a lie to everything I know, because the teen dough that we always get has red bean in it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Guess we'll find out. Feels like lemon.
Maybe they ran out of red bean.
It's still sweet inside, and it's still got the same texture. The paste. Very, very good. I do prefer red bean though, just because I think I've grown up on it. But
and it looks better, appealing. Because the red is a nice contrast. This just looks like one blob of nothing.
Chinese Lunar New Year's also falls on the same day that other people celebrate Lunar New Year's. So we have Vietnamese, Tibet, and Koreans who all celebrate Lunar New Year's. And that is why we want to call it Lunar New Year's. And I know I have a bad habit of calling it Chinese New Year's, and that's just because I've grown up saying it the same way, but as you grow, you learn, and this is something I've learned recently.
Yeah. Well, if you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe.
Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get to see our next videos.
And as always, let us know what you're trying next
on Twins Try.
Bye.